Thank you so much, Rabbi Langsam, for that overly generous introduction and for honoring me this evening with this spectacular award. My mother, Abba Shalom, would be very proud indeed. I'd like to honor and acknowledge the presence this evening of not only my wonderful Bradley students, but some very dear colleagues and friends that I get the opportunity to work with every day. Not many people know how wonderful it is to have such wonderful Jewish colleagues on the Bradley campus, and our wonderful MC for this evening, the Honorable Dean Jeffrey Huberman, our Vice President for Student Affairs, Dr. Joanne Galsser, and our Associate Vice President for Communications, Shelley Epstein. I'm also very honored to have the presence this evening of my very dear friend, Senator Dave Kaler. You make this evening that much more special. I am truly overwhelmed and some would say somewhat verklempt that you, Rabbi Langsam, and the Peoria Chabad selected me as the Woman of Valor. I have to admit I was really taken back when you recommended me for this award. You know, after all, valor is usually associated with military heroes who face great danger in oftentimes fields of battle. Someone who sacrifices himself or herself for her country or a great cause. But then I thought for a little bit and I looked deeper into what the real meaning of valor means. And the word comes from Latin and it means strength. Valor refers to anyone, not just a soldier, someone who shows great courage or bravery when encountering significant obstacles in his or her life. I suspect there are many of us in this room who have demonstrated valor in our lifetimes along life's journey. We know of some heroes from this very community, both the Peoria community and the Peoria Jewish community, who are very worthy of this title, a Woman of Valor. Betty Friedan. She immediately comes to mind when crusading for equality and justice for women 50 years ago from her Peoria roots, not just far from the Bradley Hilltop campus. It was Betty Friedan who became one of the most prominent thinkers and political activists in the 20th century. She certainly, Rabbi, was a woman of valor. And Susie Komen. She also grew up in Peoria community as well, not too far from the hilltop. And though her life was cut way too short by breast cancer, a very dreadful disease that I too am familiar with, Susie Komen's name and cause became well known around the world. She courageously fought the disease at a time when women were expected to suffer in silence. But she did not. She elicited a promise from her sister, Nancy Goodman Brinker, to work to find a cure. And Susie Komen's legacy is the largest and best funded breast cancer organization in the world, and the great hope for all of us today that there will one day be a cure. Are Susie Komen and Nancy Brinker women of valor? I think they are. So I am deeply, deeply humbled to be considered in the same terms as these great women. Betty, Susie, Nancy, they are all heroes to me, and I suspect they are to you as well. They've made an impact on this world, and I try to work every day to fulfill the legacy of another woman, another Peoria woman, our founder, Lydia Moss Bradley. She also changed the world for the better. She made opportunities available for thousands of students, some in this room tonight, opportunities to learn and to grow, opportunities to improve themselves, opportunities to fulfill their dreams for the future. And unlike the other women that I mentioned, Mrs. Bradley was not of our faith. But she did firmly believe in being inclusive and accepting of all others. She welcomes students of all faiths and of all races into our institution, and she particularly embraced the ideas of educating women, and the first graduate of the Bradley Polytechnic Institute was indeed a young woman. Mrs. Bradley was truly a woman of valor, and we try to live her ideals and pursue her vision every day here on the hilltop. We've had some assistance in that pursuit the last several years. That help has come from our own Rabbi Eli Langsam. Now, I don't want to embarrass the rabbi by bragging too much about him, but I do think it's important to share with you some of the very positive impact he has had on our campus. First and foremost, he is a very consistent presence on the hilltop. I've seen him myself at the new Hillel House meetings with students and conducting High Holy Day services with them. I have been present with him when he enhances the spiritual life on our campus, whether it's blowing the shofar on Rosh Hashanah, or lighting the 6-foot menorah on Hanukkah, or sharing the etrog and lulav on Sukkot. And Rabbi Langsam is there for our students. And I have seen him and his lovely wife Sarah share their Shabbat dinner with scores and scores of our students. I want to tell you, as Dean Huberman has already done, Sarah is a fabulous cook. The students truly enjoy her home cooking. And speaking of food, and isn't it essential in all of our lives, the Rebbe has been a wonderful partner in establishing our kosher kitchens, finally here on our campus. What started small with some sandwiches has now grown into 2 kitchens for dairy and meat in our newly remodeled Geyser cafeteria, and 2 new additional kosher kitchens in our brand new Hillel house. These kitchens not only provide delicious dining options and social outlets for our students, but they are also valuable features for Jewish students who are now considering attending Bradley University. Our university is making a concerted effort to attracting more Jewish students here, especially from the East Coast, where I recently returned yesterday from New York. Rabbi Langsam has met with students and traveled to high schools to sing Bradley's praises all over. And as you know, he is a terrific recruiter and someone who is hard to say no to. And now he is even a member of our faculty, teaching a Hebrew class in our College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. There is yet another way to broaden the Bradley experience for students, and including Rabbi Langsam as part of the Rabbi family. The list just continues to go on, and our future is bright with both he and Sarah and their beautiful children. Thank you, Rabbi and Sarah, for being part of our family. I leave you now with a story from Jeremy Kagan, author of The Jewish Self. He tells of a renowned teacher who asked his student, "What are you watching when you sit on the hillside in the late afternoon, as the colors turn from yellow to orange and red, and finally darkness?" The student paused for a second and answered, "You are watching the sunset." The teacher paused a second and smiled and responded, "That is what is wrong with our age. You know full well you are not watching the sunset. You are watching the world turn." At Bradley University, we look ahead to turning the world, not behind at the sunset. And with your help, we will continue to do so. Thank you all for being here tonight and for honoring me with this most prestigious award. I pledge to you that I will continue with my heart and soul and every fiber of my being to continue to work hard to bring the Peoria Jewish community and the Bradley community together for the betterment of all of our students and all of our community. God bless you all.